So we just had the midterm election, and some people were surprised about what happened. The Democrats did keep control of the Senate, and it looks like the Democrats are going to lose control of the House. Now, before the midterms, here's what Joe Biden was saying when it comes to abortion. This is what Joe Biden was saying. Can we pull up that article from October, Colin? This is what he was saying before the midterms. And then we're going to go to what he's saying now. Biden vows abortion legislation is top priority next year. President Joe Biden promised Tuesday the first bill he sends to Capitol Hill next year will be one that writes abortion protections into law if Democrats control enough seats in Congress to pass it. Now, there is that disclaimer there. We're going to get more of that in a second. As he sought to energize his party's voters just 3 weeks ahead of the November midterms. Okay, so let's go to what he's saying now. Colin, pull up that headline, and then we're going to watch the video itself. This is what Biden said recently, and this headline is everywhere, and we're going to watch the video that goes alongside the headline. Biden says Democrats will not be able to pass abortion rights legislation. So he's basically giving up before there's even a fight to be had. President Joe Biden said Monday that he did not expect Democrats to have enough votes in Congress to be able to pass legislation codifying Roe v. Wade. Now, he was asked this at a press conference in Bali, Indonesia. So let's go to the video itself. We went ahead and edited out this video for you.
What should Americans expect from Congress as it relates to abortion rights after the midterms?
I don't think they can expect much of anything other than we're going to maintain our positions. I'm not going to get any more questions. I shouldn't even answer your question.
Mr. President,
I don't think.
Question from an Indonesian.
I don't think there's enough votes to codify unless something happens unusual in the House. I think we're going to get very close in the House, but I think it's going to be very close, but I don't think we're going to do it.
So, look, here's the thing. I mean, first of all, I like how he's like, I shouldn't have answered that question. I gave a direct answer to a question. As a president, I shouldn't do that. I've learned my lesson. We're not supposed to answer. I should have given some platitudes about how Americans are resilient or something. Instead, I actually answered. I was like, yeah, no, we're probably not going to do anything. Here's the deal, folks. Everybody was told to go vote. They were told that abortion rights are why you need to go vote. And the Democrats were likely to get slaughtered. But largely because of the abortion issue, as we talked about on our election night streams, it went a lot differently than a lot of people projected. And yeah, there were some losses, but Democrats lost a lot less than people projected. And by the way, everybody in the corporate media was celebrating that. They're like, hey, they didn't lose as much as we thought. And Democrats still have the Senate. So here's the deal. And I know, that there's never a shortage of excuses for Democratic failures and Biden failures. Well, they don't have the House. Okay, here's the deal. We were told by Joe Biden himself that he was good at reaching across the aisle. He was good at getting Republicans on board with things. He was good at working with Republicans. That's what we were told. That was why, you're just naive if you want Bernie Sanders to be president. He's just so far left, he couldn't possibly get anything done. We need Joe Biden. He can reach across the aisle. Do you remember getting that drilled into your skull constantly? Well, here's a frickin' moment, President Biden, and you can't get any Republicans on board for abortion rights. You can't get any of these so-called reasonable Republicans to say, hey, this is a governmental overreach. They're all about government out of people's lives. I mean, it's so obvious how this is hypocrisy 101. Where it's like, oh, yeah, we want the government out of your lives. Well, unless it's about a woman's right to choose. Then of course, the government can be in everyone's lives. So Mr. Reach across the aisle, he can't reach across. Get any Republicans on board with this. Maybe they just meant Joe Biden's good at working with Republicans when it comes to passing horrible things. Maybe that's what they meant. And of course that's what they meant. I mean, it's just... And he's already just setting it up for, yeah, we're not gonna do anything. Nothing's gonna happen. He said in that clip, we're gonna maintain our positions. All that means, literally all that means, is that they're just gonna keep saying, yeah, we support it. It's too bad. Nothing can happen. And if you're a woman who needs abortion care in a state that doesn't have it, and you're poor and you can't get somewhere that can help you, guess you're just out of luck. Guess you're just out of luck. The Republicans don't care what happens to you, and the Democrats will just give you some thoughts and prayers. So I don't accept this. Oh, well, technically he doesn't have the House. No, that's ridiculous. He can't get anyone over. He can't use the bully pulpit to get anyone over for this legislation that clearly the country wants. The country has clearly spoken. And they said that Roe v. Wade is something that most Americans value. Clearly, the court of public opinion has spoken. Otherwise, it would have been a slaughter in the House, and they probably would have lost the Senate too. But because of the abortion issue, they kept the Senate, and it's neck and neck in the House. And yet still, they just can't possibly do anything. They can't possibly do anything. And let's keep in mind, the only reason it was as close as it was is because of ridiculous gerrymandered maps anyway. At the end of the day, regardless of what Wall Street sponsored team is ahead, at the end of the day, the court of public opinion constantly comes in last. It constantly comes in last. And that's the biggest takeaway from these midterm elections. Because, the average American, they're just kind of voting against a fascist theocracy, and that's what most people did. So they're saying like we have a country. Now, some people are saying that America, the United States, is a center-left country. I wouldn't go that far. I think that's being a bit too generous. I would say that the United States is a centrist country compared to most other similar pseudo-democratic experiments in the world. But if you want to say center left, maybe. I don't know. I would say more centrist. But, if you want to say the United States as a whole is center or center left, well, we're still being governed fringe right wing. We have a fringe right wing government constantly. We've had it for 40 plus years. And yet it doesn't at all reflect the people who live there. And you can see that Princeton study where public opinion, basically legislation, is the opposite of public opinion pretty much 100% of the time. And here's just another for instance. They were singing a certain tune before the midterms. After the midterms, they're not even going to let the dust settle and start fighting. Biden's already just saying, yeah, no, nothing's going to happen. Wow. What inspiring leadership.